calling all stations. Clear the air lanes, clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
So it is the Sons of Serizawa podcast, episode 86. Joining me as always, David Joshua Hernandez, Gorizard.
If you go to Burger King and you order a cheeseburger, they don't make you put the cheese on it, do they?
What?
Insightful.
Dylan McCandless, Super DM 64. He is also here. Don't say something like that, dude.
What? It was a legitimate question.
Have I ever said anything remotely
David.
like? Have I ever said anything remotely like?
You know, David, do you want me to call Burger King right now and you can ask them?
Yes, I would very much love that because they made me put the cheese on it at one point.
What do you mean they made you put the cheese on it?
I'm serious. They made me put the cheese on it.
They gave you the cheese in a singlet, and you put the cheese on the patty yourself.
Are you sure you didn't go to Burger King while in your McDonald's uniform, David?
Because then they probably tried to shoot you, and then you got off light.
I've been tempted many times to do that.
Do you think
but
rival fast food chains are like gangs? Like they see somebody who works
in my
at
heart,
McDonald's,
I like to think that way.
Saw some bitch from Burger King, so I pulled out my gun. Like,
now I'm trapped in the Mickey D's.
Oh, delightful. Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir, joining us as well.
Hello, people of the internet.
So, we got an all-news episode for you this week, because last week we talked about nothing but sad news, and then we played Cards Against Humanity, which revealed sad truths about ourselves. And I didn't have a passionate idea for a cryptid topic this week, so we're going to save that until next week, where I thought about it and I came up with a good one, so we'll do that next time.
so unlike last week when we or last time when we discussed sad news and then played a fun game, this time it's all sad news.
Yes, yeah, largely. Depending on your definition of sad.
But I'm very impressed with you, Bill. You were right. This is episode 86. I checked because I didn't.
Oh no, I said it was 80. I said it was 85. I fucked up. My bad.
Oh.
Did I say it was 85 or 86? I don't even remember now. I remember saying 85. I could have said 86. It's irrelevant. It is episode 86 because Dylan checked, and we never get it right anyway.
Just in case, I retract my my compliment.
Always taken. All right. So Andres, walk us through it. What is the shit that we may or may not care about with you tonight?
Okay, to start with the smaller news, it was recently announced that we are going to have a new Jurassic World game titled Jurassic World Evolution for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC, which appears to be another Jurassic Park builder style simulation type of game where you have where you run this whole world and you get to create little parts of pieces of the park, and you maintain the park and the dinosaurs and the people within it. Basically, kind of like your other amusement park simulator type of games.
Isn't that Jurassic Park Builder, a game that existed several years ago?
Yeah, and
but
even,
this one's got good
Jurassic Park,
graphics.
and even what's it called, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which I don't know what system that was on, but I remember Bill's friends playing it on their YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, well that was on the PS2 and other consoles of that generation. There's also a Jurassic World game that's out now on the iPhones. It's exactly the same as Jurassic Park Builder. I don't know why they did it. It's exactly the same.
Could you also evolve your dinosaurs into making them look all sci-fi and ugly looking?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole point of the movie.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Sort of.
Also in Jurassic Park Builder, they included Ice Age shit too.
The difference, I think, is that Builder has the fight mode and the Jurassic World game doesn't. I could be wrong about that, though. I'm pretty sure the Builder game has the fights, though. And I also don't know if you can make like the crazy sci-fi hybrids in the Builder game. Can you?
Everything you just said makes this a downgrade. Like, why would they do that?
Because to have the name on it. Like, because some people, I guess, don't know that Jurassic World and Jurassic Park are the same thing.
Well, maybe it's just like it's a whole new rebranding sort of deal. It's like everything's gonna be Jurassic World from now on.
Yeah, which is I don't understand
Well,
it.
that's depressing.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter. I mean, again, it's all the same shit. But it's a park, not a world. Let's be real here.
Yeah, assholes.
Unless they really ought to go all the way with it and do like a Planet of the Apes, like a War for the Planet of the Apes thing, but with the dinosaurs. Like that would be great.
Just give me a fucking.
Then the title would make sense.
Just give me a fucking first-person shooter where I'm stranded in Jurassic Park and dinosaurs try to meet me.
They've done that several times and it's never been good.
Well, then do it right.
Yeah, at that point, I don't know if you just do something original to make the dinosaur. Yeah, I guess what you ought to do is you just take like the original novel, you start with that as your basis, and then you readapt from there to make like a proper like adventure game that takes elements of everything and mixes it together into a new, fresh aesthetic for Jurassic Park that works for a video game. Because you got to change the island to make it suitable for like a video game location, which I think would be fine. But that's why you got to do it that way. Anyway, I saw clips from it. It looks very impressive. Like the graphics.
Although it didn't really show any gameplay. It was just a cinematic cutscene.
Yeah, it's all like the pretty CGI that does not in any way reflect.
Well, right, because that's what all modern games do nowadays. It's all pre-rendered cuts, all pre-rendered footage for their first trailers.
Yeah, and it's very pretty, but and sometimes the graphics get close, like. Like the Batman Arkham games, like even though those cinematics that they make for the first couple of trailers don't look exactly like the games. Exactly. Yeah. They do reflect the aesthetic enough that it's not like too big of a leap, and I'm hoping that it's the same thing here. Sure. Although I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah, I'm not into micromanagements and simulators, so no, thank you. This is gonna be a no for me.
I haven't seen this trailer, but I'm willing to bet money that the CG looks better than the CG from Jurassic World.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's more consistent.
For me, I'll be sticking to Lego Jurassic World. Thank you very much.
I played that. That is very fun. Although it's one of the only Lego games where I've played it and I've gone, this is maybe a little too complicated. It's just in the sense of like the open world. I found myself a little lost.
Yeah, that is kind of true. At least with like the Lego Star Wars games, you were in the cantina and you can easily just jump into a portal and say, "This is episode 1. This is episode 2."
Yeah, like in the Jurassic World game, I was like, "What the fuck am I?" It's not even like I thought it was cool that they put the different islands where the levels were. That was nice. But
true, yeah. You have to travel to Isla Sorna to play Jurassic: The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
But it was more when you get into the individual levels. They're not even linear. Then it's still wild.
Did they retain the feature from previous Lego games in which you can customize your own character? Because I
don't think so.
Because I'd have to wonder what the fuck you would do with that.
Oh, the dinosaurs! You can customize your own Lego dinosaurs. I think that's the case.
Yes, yeah, because you can do it but it's only in the Jurassic World part of it.
Well, that's cool. That's cool then, because it would be stupid to have that feature for human characters in that game. It's like they're all just fucking people. Like, oh, I made a different person to get chased by dinosaurs. Yay!
Yeah, but I mean, you play as the dinosaurs, though. I mean, almost just as much. So
I created a character with the body of Newman, with the face of fucking Ian Malcolm, and the hat of Alan Grant. And
that
the
sounds
hair.
awesome.
His name
Sounds
is,
like my cosplay for like next G-Fest. Nobody will get it, but I will, and that's all that matters. I miss Lego games having silent, like it's not silent, but there's no dialogue.
Like
yeah,
like silent pantomime.
I loved Lego Star Wars doing that back. It was hilarious. Like I played Jurassic World, and I'm like, this is really fun when they're not talking, because whenever they pull dialogue from the movies, it's cringeworthy.
Didn't they
Although
start
I do like the gestures they gave Lego Ian Malcolm when he's doing the ha-ha laugh.
But like you can do that and still do the pantomime. Like you don't have to have the dialogue for.
Right.
Didn't they start doing that with Lego Batman 2? Like having characters that actually talk?
That's different.
Right,
because
that was original voice acting.
That's fine.
Even still, I like the Lego people to be mute.
Batman is a little different, though. I mean, because of the villain. I guess not. I guess you can do that. I guess you can do that with the pantomime as well. But it's more it's more understandable there. But Jurassic Park, though, it's people being eaten by dinosaurs. Like,
well, technically, they're not eaten in this Lego game. It's weird. It's like they go out of their way to avoid killing anybody.
Well, it's always like when it's about to happen, something else will happen, and then
they at least made it funny when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like they always want a hot dog, or the dinosaurs are always after something that the people have.
Yeah, or even when the T-Rex eats the lawyer at the very end of the Jurassic Park section, he spits him out and continues chasing him.
That's the thing with the Lego games, right? You don't actually, you never die in those games.
No, but even then, like the Lego Star Wars games,
people got blown apart.
They do kill characters. Like Obi-Wan dies, Qui-Gon Jinn dies, Darth Maul dies.
I mean, Anakin gets like dismembered. I mean,
And it really has to make you question the logic of the Lego Star Wars universe, in which I can get blown apart by stormtroopers and regenerate like 20 times on the daily. But then every so often a character actually dies when the plot is convenient.
Or just look at the entire
game.
Just look at the end. True. And also, if we're going to look at the inconsistencies of the Lego games, look at the world itself and how some things are made completely out of Legos and some things are not.
I played Uncharted 2 when I was in high school. And the one thing that has always stuck with me is towards the end of the game, you're fighting the villain who's like juiced up on some crazy Fountain of Youth shit, and he just goes, Drake, you sit here judging me for going after this thing. Think about how many people you've killed today alone. And I sat there and I was like, he's so right. Like, Drake has totally killed more people in the past 3 days than this guy probably has in his entire life. Because of the merits, not the merits, the necessities of a video game. You got to sit there mowing down, enemy soldiers. So to finally be faced with that in dialogue, like in a cutscene where those things are usually forgotten or glossed over, just like death, I thought that was really cool, and I like it when games do that. It's hard to do though. Like BioShock is also able to get away with it because of the Vita chambers. So that's also nice. But I want to ask you guys this about have you guys played these kind of games before at all? Even though we're not particularly partial to them. Like I was addicted to Jurassic Park Builder when I was in high school.
The closest I ever got to any of those kind of games was Cityville on Facebook.
Oh, okay. What the hell was that about, and why did it draw your attention?
I don't know. It's one of those things where people would send you Facebook invites to play that game so they can earn extra coins.
It was a girl.
Oh, do you remember all the fucking like farm games? You remember when that was the thing that everybody was doing? Fucking like
Farmville.
I assume Farmville is still a thing that people play. I assume that's not a dead thing.
I'm not sure. We haven't heard anything from it since. Like, we haven't heard
anything since that guy got fired after he played Farmville for like 20 days straight.
That was hilarious. There was like some Mafiaville, I think, as well.
The Farmville franchise is a shadow of its former self, though. The franchise.
It's all about Candy Crush now.
I'm sure one day they'll make a Farmville movie, and in typical Hollywood fashion, they'll. Well, now would be the time to do it because it's lost all relevancy. You know, like the Angry Birds movie.
Yeah, they made that. Remember?
Yeah, which technically may have made it the best video game adaptation since Prince of Persia.
Just because it made money, though, right? Because it did well.
Yeah.
It was critically well received. I heard nothing about it.
Most people said it was okay.
I mean, at least now we have Castlevania, and that's like the first proper.
We
have like the first proper video game thing where it's like, oh no, this is good.
Like we had okay video game adaptations, like I said, Prince of Persia,
which I still haven't seen. I've always meant to get to that because I played a demo of like the PS3 generation Prince of Persia, and I was like, oh, this is really
the one he's got like that bluish purple scarf thing.
And I've heard that that's one of the lesser Prince of Persia games, but I enjoyed the demo I played, so I was always interested to see how the movie fared. But
Castlevania is definitely the one where we can say this is actually great, not just passable.
But what I like about this Jurassic World game is from the conceptual level, or maybe from the production level is a better way to put it, is that they're actually getting the people who are good at making and have a long pedigree of making these kind of games to make it. Like, it's not like they're just getting anybody to be like, oh, well, we're going to do that, but with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World again. They actually, are going to the people who are good at making those kind of games, and they're going to be like, can you do what you do well with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World? Maybe the only risk there then is that it's exactly the same as all their other games. Like, imagine if you gave Halo to the Call of Duty people. Like, at that point, you're kind of maybe.
They also had like a top-down strategy game. What was it called? Halo Wars.
Oh well, I think that was a different studio though. I think that's an example of why that's a thing. But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like. They're just going to repeat exactly what they've always done because they're not veering into any kind of different territory. Maybe a little bit just by the sheer fact of having the dinosaurs. Maybe it's a little bit more of an action thing than anything else they've made, but I still think that that's a solid idea, at least in the sense of, like, again, these people know what they're doing. But again, I'm not going to play it, so whatever.
Okay. So let's see. Moving on to more recent news that just occurred today was the unfortunate passing of legendary actor and comedian Jerry Lewis, who passed away at the age of 91. So this guy was, has been around for so many years, and he's mostly known for films such as the original Nutty Professor, The Bellboy. He raised a lot of money for the, what was it called? The Muscular Dystrophy.
The Muscular Dystrophy Association, yes.
Association, yeah. And he created a style of slapstick humor and a type of personality that would be forever imitated by so many more comedians down the line. I mean, he's got this kind of legendary persona where even if you've never heard of Jerry Lewis, even if you were born way after his time, you still remember that style of comedy from other people who would imitate him, and then you would go on to do the voice there afterwards.
I have never actually sat through like a Jerry Lewis movie or a comedy special or one of his Tonight Show appearances, whatever. But I will forever like know and like who Jerry Lewis was and like what he was about because of the iconic voice and persona that he's been able to maintain.
I remember it was one particular voice actor. I think it may have been Rob Paulson who was on Animaniacs, and he did a parody of Jerry Lewis on Animaniacs.
I watched Animaniacs when I was a kid, so maybe that was my in. I don't remember exactly how I was introduced to the idea of Jerry Lewis, but it happened.
I didn't realize until years later when I rewatched some episodes that the Animaniacs introduced me to the persona of Orson Welles.
But I mean, the big one so two big things for me that this guy kind of has in my life, even though I've never sat through any of his actual comedy, is the impression will forever remain, and mainly because of Hollywood Babylon and Ralph Garman doing it, and then us listening to it on the way to G-Fast, and us forever doing that like a version of Ralph's impression and forever doing that bit.
This is Jerry Lewis. We're asking for the Minister of France.
It's incredible.
I just shared an image of Jerry Lewis or a parody of Jerry Lewis on the Animaniacs on Facebook.
But
and I think it was this character that like all of the Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister, they hated, so they try avoiding him anytime they see him.
See, you look at that picture and you instantly can do the voice in your head. Like you can just add that,
Yeah.
You can just say like, I hit him in the head with a fucking 2x4. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's good shit. It's good shit. But the other
and it mixed with the good stuff and the hoi hoi.
But the certainly bigger thing that he has for me is that he was the face of the Muscular Dystrophy Association for fucking decades, and did endless upon endless telethons for them. Had some trouble with that in recent years because people have stopped watching, and more than that, his persona has not had the greatest. He hasn't had the best, reputation of late. He sort of talks some shit about a bunch of people. It's stupid, but because of the people who fund the Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, he pissed off some people, and 1 year he didn't do it, and they really took a dive, and then they brought him back. It's a whole thing.
I guess wasn't that one thing where he made like some sort of like joke that was offensive towards gay people? And
that I don't remember. I remember the American Idol people he pissed off, and they're supporters of the telethon, so they were like, yeah, Jerry, we can't really do this anymore. But I mean, just
the American Idol people.
He said he made a joke, and they didn't like it.
And I'd like to know what he said to piss off the gay people.
I want a list. No, but
I want names.
For those of you who
I
don't,
went down to that nightclub and I said, "Hey, you gays, quit with the kissing and the grinding and the badness." And then I hit him with a 2x4.
No.
So
he's clearly from another era.
Indeed. But I definitely have to thank him a lot for everything he did for the MDA. For those of you who don't know, my brother has muscular dystrophy, so. We've always known Jerry. That's probably how I was introduced to him. Actually, was because of the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and the slogan "Jerry's Kids" is all over that. So that's probably how I first heard his name. But I didn't know the persona of him until way later. Like I knew the name and what he did, but later on I was like, oh, that's that guy. Okay, hi.
Hey, this is Jerry Lewis with the thing and talking about the thing and the badness and the ladies.
Then he was. Then instead of being like this wholesome, like, oh, we have to support our children. Now he's like tossing the kids out of wheelchairs and stuff. That is the persona that I see in my head.
I would have loved to hear a conversation.
It's a very mixed, sort of dichotomy in my head of feelings about Jerry Lewis.
I would have loved to have heard a conversation between Jerry Lewis and Bill Cosby because they have very similar line delivery. It would have been hilarious. Oh, hey, Mr. Cosby, this is Jerry Lewis. I'm just really concerned about you raping the people and sounding kind of like me, ahoy. And then Bill Cosby was like, I see you with the pudding pop and the quaaludes and the dope and grope.
Sad times for all is ultimately
but their spirits will certainly live on in some form. Their spirits will certainly live on in some demented form on this damn show of ours.
Yeah. So thanks, Jerry. That's all I'll say.
Thanks for the goodness. Okay, then so let's see. The last bit of news that I had was the.
I think everything we can. I think it's slightly smaller than the big thing, so I figured we should add this. I forgot about this earlier. Right. We should have mentioned this. Do you guys want to talk about the fact that Adam Wingard has definitively said that there will be a winner in Godzilla vs.
Oh
Kong?
Yeah. Okay.
That's another big piece of Godzilla.
And then he wants to make us cry.
Which is very interesting when you're remaking King Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, I'm in. I just like to know why. Why am I supposed to cry?
Listen, Adam Wingard, look at me. So clearly you've decided not to pussyfoot around this shit, and you're actually going to have a winner in this fight, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's avoiding a cliche that we were all hoping you would avoid. Now, please, for the love of God, right the wrongs and have Godzilla win this fucking match definitively and with great prejudice.
Supposedly, Legendary had a surprise outcome way before Adam Wingard joined.
Yo, I mean, they had a whole writer's room of people figuring it out. Although apparently, when he joined up, he was like, "If I can't do whatever I want to the script, then I don't want to be involved." So that's good.
Especially considering who's attached to this movie. Or am I thinking of Godzilla 2? They have writers with dubious dubious backgrounds.
Godzilla 2 is only 2 guys. I'm not really worried about that movie script-wise. I'm actually thinking that one might be a tighter script than we're used to.
Which movie's got the Alien Covenant writer?
He's on the writer's room for Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm pretty sure. Which consists of 7 people, let's remember.
So that's also not a good sign for there to be 7 people. You don't want to have too many hands in the cookie jar.
Of course not.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. I'm sorry.
But they're not writing the script though. They're knocking ideas around as to how to make this concept work in the present day. So I think that's okay.
I can't wait until
Terry Rossio might write that script according to Adam Wingard.
Yeah, I don't think they've sat down to write the script yet. Or no, they probably have, and they just haven't announced who's actually doing the actual writing.
I can't wait until the scene where Kong looks Godzilla in the eyes and said, "Watch me, I'll do the fingering."
I think that'll be great. Nah, but this is good. I like that this movie will be about the fight, and that's the thing that it really needs to focus on. We're getting a big good versus evil sort of monster brawl in the next Godzilla movie. We don't need that to be the end-all be-all of this one. The idea here really should be the rivalry between these two characters and the differences between them and the similarities that makes this conflict interesting. And I really think that you got to come up... I mean, first things first, I'm assuming they did this already, but you got to come up with the reason they're fighting. And then the victory or defeat of one of them or both of them should say something about where they stand currently, in this universe and also in pop culture in general and in all the the narrative thematic terms that we need to hit in order to hit all the emotional beats. But at the same time, you need to make this a satisfying monster brawl. And I just hope that whatever they come up with to get Godzilla and Kong together and then get them to fight, whatever emotional or completely forced, methods they come up with to make that happen, I just hope that they're interesting and they come out in a cool way. In terms of who wins, that's the thing. I don't really care. I'm just glad there's going to be one because it doesn't really matter. We know they're not going to kill either of them.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that fucking middle of the road.
I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me at all. Like, why?
It's gonna be Team Edward and Team Jacob all over again.
But I don't understand why though. Like, they fought before. Like that they didn't decide on it then. Like, even if
they did. I thought it was Kong who won.
In the script they did, but in the actual movie they made it more ambiguous. But Adam Wingard seems to think it was more ambiguous than it really was. Kong did technically win that fight. It's Godzilla just didn't die. He didn't lose technically. He just ran away.
Or he just decided to stand literally underground until Mothra versus Godzilla,
which seems to be the idea. But I mean, I really don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I just want it to make sense with the story. It depends on what brings them together, what they're doing, what's driving each of them. Whichever one of them has a better reason to win should win, realistically, Like,
But how do you have Kong beat Godzilla and also have it make sense? That is a contradiction in terms. Good sir.
I mean, they did it. I mean, they didn't do it in 1962. It didn't make sense. In this universe, the only way I can see it is if the final fight is on Skull Island, which would be very cool.
Even if they had committed and done it all the way in 62, like the script said, it still wouldn't have made sense.
I mean, it probably wouldn't have been very different, because in 1962, a monster being defeated is it just disappears. It just vanishes into the water or whatever. That's how all those movies that don't end with them bleeding out of the anus end. ultimately I prefer the anal bleeding, but I doubt we'll get that in Godzilla vs. Kong.
I think
Damn it.
more monsters could deal with a little rectal bleeding. I think it would pump new life blood
A little
into
bit
the
of
John.
anal leakage.
I don't know. Do you?
It would
I don't know, Dylan. You're very
Like-
right. You're very right. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go on.
You're very reticent about Godzilla winning, but Andres and David, do you guys have a strict opinion either way? Because I just want to see them beat the shit out of each other. I don't care who wins. That's the thing.
I would love to see Godzilla win, but part of me thinks that King Kong might win because gorillas can... I have a feeling that maybe King Kong, he has always been built up as a more sympathetic character, so maybe he's going to be the one that audiences are going to attach themselves to.
That's just mammalian bias right there.
True.
That's how Toho always did it though. If you look at all their movies, there is a humanoid mammalian bias. I mean, even look at like War of the Gargantuas. Like Sonda's more humanoid and Gyra's more reptilian. And well, guess which one's bad? The one that's not
King
terrestrial.
Caesar, King Caesar was the good guy in Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, and I mean, even think of humanity in a more broader sense of like in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla is good because he's a real flesh and blood creature, and Mechagodzilla is bad because he's this evil construction.
Frankenstein versus Baragon.
Yeah, that's another good example. I mean, the list goes on and on. I can't think of a movie where the good monster was like some kind of reptile or something else. And
I mean,
the bad
shit, man.
monster was a
Ultraman
humanoid.
is like... Ultraman is as humanoid as you can get.
That is porn for people who hate monsters, because it's just a man murdering them violently over and over again.
I guess that explains me then.
Yeah, David has this like just loathing of anything not human, so that's why he loves Ultraman. Just the fucking sheer Schadenfreude of it. It's worse than Schadenfreude.
I enjoy Ultraman
sheer
for
sadism.
I enjoy Ultraman for the monster porn.
Indeed.
I've run the simulations on this. I used Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale, and I pitted Godzilla 2014 up against Toho Kong. I'd ran the simulation 10 times, computer versus computer, so there was no player input on my part. 10 out of 10, Godzilla beat him.
Well, but the Skull Island Kong is not in there, obviously, and then we don't know what he's gonna be like in the new movie, so we can't exactly be sure. And
okay, so it's not a perfect simulation. I did have to input Toho Kong instead of Skull Island Kong because Skull Island Kong has not been added to the game as of yet. Get on that, Murdich. But but I would actually say that gave Kong even more of a chance to win in the simulation because Toho Kong actually has some powers to speak of.
He would be shorter than he would have to be, though.
Whereas right now, Kong, Skull Island Kong does not have any powers to speak of. I'll be really interested to see if they give him the electrical shit.
The powers of persuasion.
The power of love?
The power of love. Power of, I don't know.
The power sword?
The power of uncertainty. Power of ambiguity and the willingness to look for the answers.
Willpower.
He's an inquisitive motherfucker. That's what I like about this Kong. No, I just want to see them beat the shit out of it. David, do you have a stake either way?
I mean, I want Godzilla to win because, in a way, he kind of sort of lost in 62, but I'm also one of those people that debates that fight. I'm more of the side that there was no winner. It was a draw.
Godzilla didn't lose.
If you think about it, if you're in a fight and the dude hits you and you go down for just a few seconds and the dude runs away, does that mean he won?
No, exactly. Godzilla didn't lose that fight. He abandoned it. All right? That's a
No, I'm talking about King Kong is the one who ran away.
That's a good that's a good point.
But then my line that I stole from Sam Jackson doesn't make sense. The point is,
I mean, ultimately, Kong got what he wanted. He got to go home. That's what he was going for. Well, maybe not. Maybe he was satisfied to be in Japan, but Godzilla being there was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, and then he decided to go home.
His will.
No, I know, but I'm saying maybe he was okay with it. Or not okay with it, but like okay with where he ended up until he met Godzilla, and then he was like, oh, this is not cool. I don't like this.
So the kidnapping is justified just as long as...
No, it's not justified. I'm just saying he was going to make do with what he had until he came across the radioactive lizard, and then he was like, "This is not going to work out well for me." But you know, I'm very interested to see how that's going to go. See, I would only be outraged if they killed one of them. Then I would join in on the outrage and be like, I'd like to see another one.
I have a suspicion that Godzilla will win simply because Toho doesn't allow the licensees to kill any of the Toho monsters. And since King Kong
has been being killed on film since day one.
That's true. If they're gonna kill one of them, it would be him. That would be such a bizarre way to set up that scenario though. Like you set up this fight where he's clearly the underdog and then he just is brutally murdered at the end. Again, you got to come up with a real good crux of a narrative if we're gonna do it that way. I can see it though.
I will be happy to take Bill's position and be like, oh, I don't care who wins. When anybody, and I mean anybody on the planet Earth, can tell me what Kong, particularly Skull Island Kong, has to counter the atomic breath. That was the deciding factor. That was the deciding factor in all 10 of those simulations, by the way. You can't dodge every blast.
This Godzilla can't keep popping them out, though.
Especially since this version of the atomic breath is kind of like a mist, so it's got a good spread.
We'll have to see. We shall have to see. Maybe he's got a
King Kong's only fast in Skull Island because he's 100 feet. Once he gets to Godzilla size, then he'll have to, by physics standards, he'll be slower, won't he?
He's hopefully they won't make him as big, so he'll have that advantage. But I don't know. He'll presumably be more agile because he's a fucking ape.
Even if he could theoretically dodge every single atomic blast, this version of Godzilla isn't any pushover in the hand-to-hand department either. And he's like a fucking tank. You know what Godzilla, Skull Island Kong could kick the ass of? Shin. As long as he can dodge those atomic blasts, he's a fucking pansy.
I mean, he would kick his ass until Shin just absorbed him, or whatever, or just evolved into him or something.
And then we finally get our Kongzilla movie. I'm for it.
There we go. I'm down for that. But yeah. I'm just excited to see how it goes down, man. I want to see how they do it. How those seven writers come up with a way to do it.
I think Adam Wingard let it slip that there's going to be more monsters besides Godzilla and Kong.
I figured that. I hope that they each fight something before they fight each other. You'd kind of want that.
Well, if Godzilla can get his hands on some biplanes, then it's all over. You know, that would be the
or some napalm in this version.
Kryptonite.
Yeah.
He was able to take down helicopters, but then some biplanes show up, and he's like, "Oh no."
Well, I was gonna say something else. I want to see Godzilla on Skull Island though, because we didn't get that equivalent in '62. I'd like to see that in this version. That would
do you think he might be? Oh, do you think he might be too big for Skull Island? He just takes 5 steps and he's already across to the other side of the island.
That's a pretty big version of it, maybe. But again, if Kong is going to be that big, they're going to have to account for that.
Again,
true.
like you said, I hope he's not as big as Godzilla. I would like it to be kind of like the fight from Rulers of Earth when Godzilla fought the Gargantuas.
Oh, it's not going to be like that. You're crazy.
And I mean, not that scale, but I liked Godzilla having to fight more.
Yeah, well, sure. It's the scale though is that he's definitely going to be bigger than that. I would hope he'd be bigger than that.
Well, yeah, definitely. He's already bigger than that. I'm just saying.
Are the Gargantuas less than 100 feet?
Actually, you know what? He might be about the same. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would think that they would be probably similar in size, but when he gets to Godzilla versus Kong, you would hope he would be in excess of 200 at the very least.
Yeah, very interesting. Anyway, I like Godzilla having to fight an enemy that's smaller and more agile than him. That made for some interesting battle.
I mean, that's why you want to do this, is because they're two completely different characters, and it's fun to see them and their fighting styles clash. You know,
because we've done the opposite on many.
It's the ultimate monster mash for that reason.
We've done the opposite on many occasions. We've done the whole, here's a monster that's actually way bigger than Godzilla. I mean, we did that with Ghidorah several times. Biollante had that going on. Pretty sure Destroyer was bigger than him, wasn't he? I mean, anytime that they want,
Yes.
anytime they want like a big boss, that's the card that they play. Oh, it makes Godzilla look like a fucking midget, this could be the opposite of
Technically,
that.
Biollante was bigger than Godzilla. Not by much.
Already.
Oh, did you? My bad.
Yeah. So, but this could be the opposite of that, which could be interesting. You know, we've got a Godzilla who's already beat a version of King Ghidorah, like one movie previously. So he's already beat a monster that's taller than him, and now he could go up against something that's smaller and more agile, and that would be a completely different challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Although technically he already faced both of those things when he fought the Mutos. But
yeah, well, because the flying one can kind of jab at him. That's the only time I've rewatched that movie not too long ago, and that's the only time they ever get an advantage is when they double team him. Prior to that, every time one of them goes up against him, they get creamed.
yeah,
It's only once they double team him that it's a problem. But
yeah.
That's what I
That's
like
probably-
about that. That's what I like about that fight that we get like very little of.
Yeah, that's probably how they did it in when their species and Godzilla species were prolific. They just would strengthen numbers because they're very insect-like. So I imagine that they would. I mean, well, we've seen their egg sacs. They reproduce like many at a time.
It's also just nice for a narrative structure to have it like you're introducing Godzilla slowly, so he creams them every time he first pops up because we're establishing him as this big force of nature, and then finally at the end they get a leg up on him, and you think that things are gonna go their way. Like once you see them tag team him, for a second you're like, oh, there's no way he's gonna win, but then you're like, oh shit, Godzilla has atomic breath. That's right, this is easy.
And he just tail whips tail into that building, and you're like, fuck, well.
That is one of my favorite bits with him, is when he swipes that tail, and he kills the male Muto. He just kind of looks down, and he's like, oh, that was a lot. And then the building comes down, and he's just like, oh, shit.
I'd actually argue that that's, like, almost as good, like, right up there with the fatality he has on the female, because they're good for different reasons.
Yeah.
The female thing is like this huge moment that makes you like jump out of your seat and scream like fuck yeah, because it's got this build up to it, and he grabs her and he like opens up her jaw, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna? And then he does it. With the male Muto, it has the opposite thing where it's like super quick and you almost don't see it coming. And then when it happens, I remember being in the theater and just being like, oh.
It's also it's different. I mean, and the atomic breath down the throat is also different from anything we've gotten in a Godzilla fight before, but he's never been agile enough to do something like that, so, or at least do it like that. So
imagine how stupid it would have been if the female Muto had opened her mouth and then Godzilla stuck his head in there and did the atomic breath. That would never happen.
Like 2000 style. That would be amazing. When that movie first came out, I read, Gareth Edwards did an interview with a magazine. He was like, here's 10 things I'll share about the making of the movie. And one of them was that originally he was just supposed to break the jaws King Kong style. But as soon as they started doing concept art for it, he was just like, why don't we have him just like vomit the atomic breath down the female's throat? And then that's where it came from. And thank God, because it's one of the best things about that movie, if not the best thing. That is, see, he's got two movies that have exactly the same, like, maybe it's not a problem, but it's very noticeable. They both have like one super effective cool thing at the end that's 10 times cooler than anything else in the movie, with Godzilla and Rogue One. In terms of the Darth Vader scene and Godzilla fucking up the Mutos in San Francisco and in those two fatalities. So,
Yeah.
Garrett,
I would say that
spread it out
Rogue
a little
One,
bit.
I guess I would say Rogue One was a better put together. Overall, Rogue One was a better put together package than Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, I would agree that it's a better movie. Although I might enjoy 2014 more on like a watchability level, because Rogue One's very involved, and I think it's longer, but
emotionally involved.
Not by much. Godzilla 2014 is also way too long. Not way too long. It's a little too long.
It feels too long.
Yeah, it definitely does. That second act is ooh. That's the real thing that kills that movie.
I still remember every time I went to the theater after the first viewing, every time I went take the second act as that moment to go to the bathroom or get a snack or something. It's like I'm not gonna miss anything.
Literally the second you cut back to Honolulu in the morning, it's
yes,
like, you get that feeling,
and you see the trains.
Yeah, and you just get that feeling.
That's
when
my brain automatically.
Fuck.
That's when my brain automatically switches off. It's like, well,
Yep.
I'm out.
I feel the same way
for now.
Having just rewatched it, I felt the same way. Yeah. I liked it a lot more. Having said that, I liked it a lot more than I remembered liking it the last time I watched it, though.
That's how you are. You're always like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I like it. I don't like it.
No,
that was better. That was worse than I liked it. That was better.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the experience of watching it more than I expected it to. But I mean, I still had the same problems.
You enjoyed the novelty of a Hollywood Godzilla.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like it's also the thing I still really like about it is that it's still a really good disaster movie. It's one of the best of those in recent years.
I don't know. I debate that because you don't. It would be a disaster movie, except we don't see much of the disaster. Like, sure, we saw the city flooding, but did we really see anything else other than that?
The build-up around it, though, is fucking awesome, and the ambiance of it is very effective, and that's the thing I really like about it. But yeah, no, we definitely don't. I mean, I'm not gonna.
We don't see people. It's not like we see. It lingers on the fact that people died in this accident, in this horrifying accident.
It thinks it does.
It acts like it does, but we don't see the full impact.
I listen, man. I agree with you. But I was just saying that I had a good time watching a movie.
At least they didn't keep cutting back to a boardroom.
At least with Shin Godzilla, it set out to do what it wanted to do, and it accomplished what it wanted. It thought that it was a political drama, and it succeeded at being a political drama, as opposed to 2014.
No, I think 2014 succeeded at what it set out to do. I just think what it set out to do was frustrating and counterintuitive.
At least the Japanese American character in 2014 can actually speak English.
He doesn't do it.
True.
He doesn't do it very often, though. And when he does, you're like, what?
We call him Godzilla.
I'm like, that I understood.
I'd actually like a version of Shin where only she is dubbed. Like, keep the rest of it subbed.
That would be great. Yeah, no, that would be great.
Just edit in the dubbing.
David, get on it.
Because she is by far the best part of the Funimation dub.
I haven't watched that yet.
Well, wait, you want me to? You want me to keep the Japanese version, but you want me to insert the dubbed version of Kyoko?
That's going to be so distracting. That would be amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I can do it, but I'm too fucking lazy to do that.
It solves a major problem with that film's universe. In that the one Japanese American character can't speak English. And she's supposed to be from America. She's not supposed to be an immigrant who's like picking up English as a second language. She's supposed to be from here.
You know, she's third generation. Her grandmother was the one who was from Japan.
You know what's funny is that my students who did... Yeah.
I really wish they could have got, what's her name? Steven Seagal's daughter. She would have been...
Ayako Kuchidani.
Anna has worked with her in the past.
Oh, really? In what?
That movie that David talked about on the SOS when you were not here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the literal translation of that is ritual or ceremony, but
I guess they're the same thing.
I mean, it depends on the way you're describing said ritual or ceremony.
I guess so.
I think ritual is probably the more closer one because of what the movie's about.
Well, a ritual and a ceremony. A ritual I see is more of like, all right, we're going to sacrifice a lamb to the stars. A ceremony is more like, oh, we're going to get together and we're going to celebrate.
All right, ritual is the more appropriate word to use translate that movie.
Well, ritual is often a facet of a ceremony.
Yes, that's true.
No.
Ritual is one act. A ceremony is a grander, grander theme, maybe.
No, you're right, because the ending of the movie also has this ceremony-like thing about it. So there's like a double meaning behind that word.
Is this like a
Shikijutsu.
series and a franchise? Like, there's multiple rituals to one ceremony of like the franchise is the ceremony. Like, I take.
Are we still talking about the movie, or are we still talking about the word?
Are we talking about the definition still? Because this is a fascinating
I was
bit of
making, I
semantics.
was trying to make a joke about. Never mind. So
I'll try
anyway.
to make jokes.
Thanks. That's definitely not why we're here. All right.
I thought you'd learned your lesson.
All right. Let's move on, shall we? Andres, are you still with us?
Yes.
You're up, buddy.
Okay, so speaking of Godzilla, since we talked about the last two incarnations of Godzilla, let's talk about the newest one, in that we have a boatload of new information concerning Godzilla Monster Planet, the first animated Godzilla movie, which is set to release in November of this year. And we got not only do we have our first trailer, but we also have a full design of the new Godzilla revealed in all his green glory.
We got several reveals of it.
Yeah, we got the vinyl toys, we got the SH Monster Arts toy, and we got the giant statue that was shown off somewhere in Japan.
Oh, you're in the country and you're like somewhere in Japan.
Somewhere in this fucking country that I'm currently stationed in.
My personal nickname for the film is Godzilla Monster Plant.
That's certainly descriptive.
I think there's a distinct possibility that planet was a mistranslation on somebody's part. I don't know. I would refer that to M11 or somebody who would know.
I don't think so.
Actually, my teacher translated it as well to Monster Planet.
Is it Planet of the Monsters or Monster Planet? Because I keep reading.
Planet of the Monsters.
Who fucking cares? It's in kanji. You can translate it to anything you want when you turn it to English. Technically, it's two kanjis. The first kanji is monster or beast, and then and the other one is planet.
So what you're saying is Japanese is bullshit.
No, I'm saying that you can
Most
do whatever
languages
you
are.
want when you translate, because the grammar is so different. You can translate it to literally anything grammatically.
And it's the same either way. It evokes the same effect.
Like the kanji, the literal translation is monster planet. So you can translate in English to planet of the monster, monster of the planet, planet monster, monster planet, anything you want.
Monster of the planet isn't real. That doesn't work. I mean, see, that would be a problem then if somebody translated it that way, because it doesn't get the right idea across.
Sure, but I'm saying
I guess Godzilla would be a monster of the planet Earth.
Monster
more
of Earth.
more so in this version than any other, maybe.
Yeah, but Toho's official English title is Planet of the Monsters.
Well,
Where?
there you go, then.
on the press release, you didn't see it?
Where?
Nope. You're hiding something.
I was gonna say you sounded like Bryan Cranston. Where are they?
I have a right to know.
I am the one who knocks Skylar.
My official English title
Here's the press release.
Godzilla, Revenge of Biollante. Yeah.
It says Planet of the Monsters on it, so I guess that's definitive proof.
We should probably
Fake
explain
news.
to the people in the audience who maybe haven't read any of this, what's up with all the plant jokes.
Yeah, Andres, do
Godzilla's
you want to? Oh.
doll.
I'll let David do it since he has the translated press release.
Yeah, read it, you son of a bitch. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so mean.
But I gotta read the whole damn...
No!
Yes!
No, definitely don't do that.
Always.
Please don't. I want to hear the very specific part where they tell me where he comes from.
Right, so just the biography of Godzilla?
Yes, that
Yeah, I
is
just-
literally
no.
all I care about.
I just want to know who his daddy is and what he does.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Right, so according to the second press release, let me share that one right quick.
I didn't know there were two.
It says Godzilla is the largest life form ever recorded and possesses unique body tissue
Stop!
integrated.
That's
What?
fine right
In
there.
the
That's
name
good.
of love.
That's perfect. They should have stopped right there. That was a perfect description of what Godzilla is right there. That's
right?
it. That's it, right? That's all they put in there.
I gotta say, I'm with it so far. I'm wondering where the controversy is now.
All right, David, give me the next sentence, and then stop after the next sentence.
It's all one whole sentence.
All right, well, fine. Give me the next part.
All right. And possesses unique body tissue integrated with metal-like muscle fibers.
Okay. We're starting to get a little off track, but
This is an idea that I actually like because it's a nice way to do the whole indestructible thing. You know, it's
yeah.
You know,
he's a radioactive man.
Thing.
He's not a...
Is he even radioactive in this version? There's nothing in this character bio to suggest to me that
so far I'm basing this on what I was hoping for. So it makes sense that we can have some weird metal biology.
There you go.
He's a living nuclear reactor, so that makes sense. Anyway, go on, David. I'm sorry.
Which can generate a strong electromagnetic charge to support his massive weight.
Which is interesting. That's very interesting, given giving a science fiction reason for why he can exist.
It might also be the source of his nuclear breath. You know, EMPs can are tied to nuclear energy. You know, that's actually how you create an EMP in real life. The only way that we know of is to detonate a nuclear bomb in the upper atmosphere, and it creates an EMP wave.
I mean, that's what they do in the 2014 Godzilla with the Mutos.
Which is funny because they thought 2014 was ripping off Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah, because there's literally that one fucking bit in Pacific Rim where one of them whips out an EMP, and I'm literally like, we've been using EMPs in science fiction shit for like 20 years.
Mm.
However long EMPs have been publicly known, that's how long we've been using them.
Well, yeah, but these are the Pacific Rim people who also thought that the word kaiju originated with Pacific Rim.
And these are the same idiots who think that Pacific Rim is a ripoff of Evangelion, even though there's been tons of giant robot fighting giant monster shit since the 70s.
It's as much of a ripoff of Evangelion as it is of any other giant mech show, or any not even just show, anything.
So these are not the smartest people in the world, okay? All I'm saying is that when Del Toro sends his fans, he is not sending his best.
All right, David, kill us with the last part of the sentence.
The end result of natural selection on Earth, he originated from plant-based life and has gone on to survive 20,000 long years as a super evolved living organism. And that's the end of the bio from the press release.
So I like how old. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that shit about him being a plant?
The most evolved life form on the planet. I mean, that's the same explanation they give in Shin, and that makes sense with every other version of Godzilla I've ever seen. That he is the pinnacle of evolution. Great.
He is the literal master race.
Yeah. But what about him being a plant?
I felt like they were just trying to one-up Shin and making him different because
they really did. They really did. Like, the only thing they could have done to make it weirder than Shin is to not even make him an animal at all.
Exactly. At the very least, Shin is an animal. He's an
atomic mutated animal from the sea who kind of looks like a dinosaur. And attacks the city and all. We have a lot of the Godzilla tropes that we have. It's just a little different looking, and his powers are a little different. But all the basic ideas are there. Why is he a plant? In the version where we're already going to leave him and all these other monsters on Earth while we go off into space to run
Because
from
why
them.
the fuck not? Because this is an animated movie that has no connection to any other Godzilla movie, so they decide, let's take full advantage of the fact that this is an alternate universe on Godzilla.
Fine, but why make him a plant though? Like, do anything
because
else?
Because they want to be fucking different.
See, but that's the issue here. I think that was the mistake here.
This is wonderful right now because all of Bill's arguments for why he doesn't like the idea of Godzilla being a plant are exactly the arguments that I use against Shin, and he's just like, "Oh, it's fucking fine." But now the plant's on the other porch, Mister. You gotta...
the plant's in the other pot.
And my argument is that I don't like Shin because it's different. I like Shin because of what it does with what it does differently, and also with what it does the same.
What it does boardroom meetings.
This is different. I like the boardroom meetings. This is different. I don't know why it's different yet. I haven't seen the movie, but it's just different. It feels like just being different for the sake of being different. But I mean, again, we have to see why they made him a plant.
Hold on. He's not technically a plant. He originated from plant-based life, so he's not directly a plant.
He's got roots and shit.
Yeah, but he's not 100% a plant.
Right, kind of like how Swamp Thing is not 100% swamp.
Yeah, well, I just want to know why he's shaped like a dinosaur then, or not even a dinosaur, just a dinosaur-esque caricature thing. You know, like
I'll say the same thing that I say about Shin. At that point, why is it even Godzilla? At that point, why don't you just? I
see what you're saying there, but I mean, absolutely. I mean, I feel that way with this 100%. With Shin,
maybe because maybe within these universes they believe
they want to make
a humanoid dinosaur with backplates is the ultimate form of evolution.
Or I mean, I guess that's just the definition of Godzilla. But again, I mean, I gotta know why this thing's shaped like a. We gotta know the deal, you know. Like I don't even.
I'm pretty sure they'll explain that because, like I said, he originates from plant-based life. So whatever other organism.
Maybe he's an experiment gone wrong.
Did they just
doesn't seem? I mean, he's been around for 20,000 years, so clearly.
Right. But you see, but here's the thing: according to the synopsis, Godzilla drove humans off the planet. And then humans decided to travel back to Earth. However, they traveled via light speed, and the time passes on Earth is much greater than the time passed when they're traveling through space and time.
Like Gunbuster.
Yeah.
Like Gunbuster, like what's it called? What was
Planet
that?
Exactly.
Well, that too, yeah. And what was that other movie that Christopher Nolan made?
Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar. So to them, it's only been like a couple years, but for Earth, it's been 20,000 years. And so that's, I guess, what allowed Godzilla to take over the Earth and become this weird big thing. But I want to say that it's possible. I'm thinking that maybe humanity ended up creating Godzilla by saying, what if we make ourselves a plant animal thingamabob? Just to see if we can. And then they end up making Godzilla. Yes, exactly. They wanted to pull off a poison ivy, and they went horribly wrong.
I assume it'll be something like Shin or like any other version with Regenerator G1, where his cells are just like super active and super independent on their own. They're constantly regenerating and constantly forming, and it just happens to be from plant life in this case, which conceptually I think I see where they were going. You know, he's an organism that just runs on pure energy, so he photosynthesizes like a plant, so I guess making him part plant in this version makes sense. So I guess it just if what
we got three movies. We got three movies. They got three. They're planning 3 movies to explain this whole deal. So
yeah.
We'll probably get we'll probably won't get all the answers until like a couple years down the line.
And I'm willing to reserve judgment. Like if this is bad, I really don't care. We've got a million other versions of Godzilla right now, so I really don't care. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and just see what they do. But here's my thing with this. I was really interested to see like a version of Godzilla where they do this just basic premise of him and all the other monsters are left on Earth to their own devices without people for a long time, and then they come back and and they've taken over. Like, that's crazy interesting. To then put this, he's also like, to give him this completely different, you know, origin. And not even origin, just like make him a completely different thing from the ground up, and just in general, just completely change what he's about. On top of all the space aesthetic and the sci-fi aesthetic, it's just too much and it's overwrought. And I think the fun of seeing a more traditional Godzilla and all his accompanying kaiju thrown in with that crazy sci-fi aesthetic is lost then. And that's what I was hoping for with this. So the fact that we're not getting that is disappointing on that level. But
I feel like this new Godzilla movies is just going to be like people trying to one-up each other with the look how weird we can make it.
Maybe. But
to be honest,
this one doesn't look that weird. This one doesn't, because it looks like Here's the thing. I don't even know how much the fact that he's a plant is going to matter. Like, he might just be in the background roaring.
Because just looking at the trailer itself, he still seems to look and act like Godzilla.
That's the thing. It might not really matter that much at the end of the day in terms of, like, what happens in the movie.
I don't know how you can tell with that frame rate, but I'll
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we should talk about the trailer itself more than just the... I mean, I've seen some people online going like, "Oh, people are obsessing over this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, but this is a thing to obsess over, though, isn't it?" At a certain point. I mean, again, we have a million versions of Godzilla right now. I'll forget about this in a week, but at the moment, this is crazy.
And I've also seen the customary, tons of posts on Toku Legion, like, why can't the fans just be happy that we get a new Godzilla movie? And just whenever the fuck Toho decides to shit on us, it's just, they just need to be happy that we got a fucking movie at all. And I'm like, no. Fuck you.
That's my argument. Fuck you.
Well, people are allowed to be critical, absolutely. It's
don't worry, man. You don't let what happened to Power Rangers 2017 and me happen to you. You're like, dude, you're judging it, but even though you haven't even seen the full movie yet.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one that's digging the plant origin thing.
Oh shit! Oh my god, we didn't even expect it.
I'm kind of digging in it as well. It's
really?
like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's again. I've had 60 years. No, I haven't had 60 years, but we as a collective society has had 60 years of traditional Godzilla. And in fact, this was actually kind of what I wanted from the Millennium series, where the Millennium series was kind of to be this Elseworlds, take on Godzilla.
No, Andres, I'm totally with you on that level. Although I would say I wanted them to do more weird stuff with Godzilla, then make him weird. We got that with Shin, and I liked it in that. This is like pushing my buttons too much, Like that's what this is testing me, Like
to me, I was never bothered by Shin.
No, I wasn't either. I was with you.
To me, this is on the same level as Shin, where I'm thinking, that's strange. That's different. I might like it because it's different.
I can definitely be turned. I'm definitely of the opinion to be turned.
Every single image we've seen of Godzilla, of the new anime Godzilla, he looks cool to me. I'd say, like, I look at the poster, I'd say, that looks cool. I look at the recent images of the toy, where, let's see if I can find it. This promo image.
One spoke volumes. Andres is like, everything I've seen of him, he looks cool, and Bill just goes,
Let's see. But it's like, I look at whatever promotional images they've shown of the image of the new design, and I say, yeah, that works for me.
Did they just, like, really like that Liam Neeson movie? Where he's a giant tree monster?
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was like all the monster walks or whatever.
And they were like,
monster calls or whatever.
Monster calls.
Yeah, something like that.
This image of the I think it's the SH figure art. No, it's the vinyl. It's the vinyl figure.
I liked it when I thought that he was a traditional Godzilla with stuff growing on him because he's been on Earth for a long time, unattended with people. I loved that when I thought that's what I was looking at.
But I sent the image on Facebook again. Yeah. I see this and I'm like, I dig it. I can dig this.
I want to see it. I want to know what's going on. Listen, I don't care enough to hate it because there's so many other versions of Godzilla right now, and we have another live action movie coming up that I'm very excited about. So
how funny is the version?
So I think I'm caught. I definitely have found myself in the middle, but I really don't like the plant thing.
If there's
it's
one
funny how,
thing,
like, the version of Godzilla that's not a mutant is the closest we've had to a traditional Godzilla in recent years.
Right. If there's one thing that the last Godzilla designs all did the same, it's tails that are longer than the body itself. Is that just going to be the new aesthetic for Godzilla? Is he always going to have like a super long tail? It's not something I did, but it's interesting to note.
He's always had a pretty long tail.
I do have another problem with this design aside from it being a plant.
Is it the eyes?
No, actually, no.
A lot of people are complaining about the eyes.
Honestly, I don't even think it should have eyes, because if you're going to make it a plant, fucking commit. But this Godzilla has a similar problem that I have, in that he looks, big and threatening from the front view, but then from the side he's a tad chunky. I mean, look at this guy.
He is rotund.
People used to say that 2014 was fat. No, my friend.
It looks too much like a monster from Danny Phantom I saw when I was a kid. There was a half chicken, half plant monster that had like exactly the same face. And whenever I look at this Godzilla, that's what I think of. Especially because it has that, like, the teeth are built into the plant. Like, it doesn't have teeth. Like, it's like these weird protrusions from the skin. Or whatever you call it. Stalk. And
I do find it interesting that he's got these, like, almost beautiful looking bright blue eyes.
Yeah, see, I actually like the eyes. It's one of the only things on it that I like.
It's creepy, but it's fascinating human-esque.
See, I don't have a problem with the design. Like the silhouette of it is fine. Like it's Godzilla. It's just the details and I'm not in love with.
He needs to go to the gym.
But I mean, no, he looks pretty. It looks like he just needs to eat right. It looks like his workout is fine. He just needs to stop drinking so much water because that's all he realistically should be intaking. So...
Right, how is there any water left on Earth with a plant this size?
That's a good point. Well, we see, but like David said, I don't think he's going to be strictly just a big plant. I imagine what they'll explain is that because he is a super evolved, like, ultimate evolution plant, he's a plant that's so evolved he mimics... Or at least seems to mimic. Well, I mean, plants are alive. Seems to mimic animal life, like the complexity. Animal life, yeah. The complexity of it. Although people just don't understand how complex plant life is. I think the idea of this is to make it more visual. See, Andres, I'm with you. I like a lot of the concepts of it, but it's just in the execution of it. And then when I'm reminding myself that we're also going to be off in space for half the movie, dealing with extraterrestrials.
Are we?
Yeah. There's gonna be there are alien races that apparently facilitated the extraction of people from Earth, and that's why we have all the crazy tech, which is cool. I think that would be 10 times cooler if we had traditional monsters that we didn't have to worry about explaining different origins for.
So you're saying that it's like for you, it's too much. I'm saying it's less interesting.
I'm saying it's less interesting and less fun.
Okay. Oh, because like you like to have the novelty of seeing something familiar in an all new setting instead of something unfamiliar and brand new in an already unfamiliar and brand new setting.
I mean, it's Godzilla, so yeah, I want to see the aesthetic of Godzilla thrown into this new situation. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. But maybe this version of Godzilla will most likely, once they explain who he is and where he came from, he'll be something that can only exist in this type of universe.
I really hope that when they do explain the origin, it starts with Rick Moranis saying, "You remember that total eclipse of the sun about a week ago?"
I'll have to release this episode a week late now, just so that makes sense.
Oh shit! I forgot there is going to be a total eclipse of the sun.
Yeah, I thought that's why you made that joke.
A total eclipse of the sun.
That's how.
No, that was actually just He's a Plant. Audrey 2 is a Plant. Little Shop of Horrors is a funny movie. Everybody should just be watching Little Shop of Horrors. Why are you listening to this podcast?
Everybody should just be watching Godzilla vs. Biollante, because that's my go-to plant-based Godzilla movie. They've basically combined Godzilla and Biollante into one character. Well, I guess not necessarily. Biollante is more Godzilla than this thing is, realistically, because she's got Godzilla's DNA in her.
See, that's what happens. You combine animal life and plant life, and you get Biollante.
Yeah.
So maybe the same will happen with Godzilla.
Maybe someone. He's less of an actual Godzilla than Biollante is.
Yeah.
In the tradition.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But again, I don't know how much the fact that he's a plant is going to matter, because it seems like this movie is more about this guy having this vengeance against him because he killed his parents. Which
by the way, the protagonist in the Japanese dub, he is voiced by the same voice actor who does Light Yagami from Death Note.
Okay. I'm sure somebody is happy about that. He sounds to be very angry in the trailer.
Apparently, within the anime community, almost everybody who does the voices in this cast are people who have done protagonists for other major anime shows.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that Masako, whatever her last name is, will be get some of that Goku voice up in there?
I like that in this universe where we're going to be getting a bunch of monsters, though, that we are focusing on Godzilla. That's always nice when we have a more expanded Godzilla mythos. I mean, 2014 only had 3 monsters in it, and guess which one was the least developed. So it's nice to see this one focusing on him, and also to have the main protagonist story built around him. But he appears to be roaring in the background, so that's pretty good. That's usually what Godzilla's good for.
Before somebody corrects me, I did say that there were 2 kanjis in the poster. In the title, I was wrong. I meant to say there were 2 words in the poster. There are 4 kanjis. The first 2 kanji is kaiju, and the second 2 kanji is wakusei, which kaiju, wakusei, monster, planet. So yeah, it does literally translate to monster planet. But yeah, as David has pointed out, it looks like they're going to be going with the official English translation of Planet of the Monsters.
Not that it really matters, but Planet of the Monsters.
Right, like I said, yeah,
it
doesn't matter.
No, but I think Planet of the Monsters.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, Planet of the Monsters.
I don't like it because it reminds me too much of Planet of the Apes.
And what is wrong with being reminded of Planet of the Apes?
That is a good thing, good sir. If you want to be reminded of Planet of the Apes, but at home you can go listen to Talking Apes.
I love this motherfucker. He's just like, I'm just gonna go right into a plug.
Oh yeah. Oh, the other guy that the main voice actor, the guy in the lead role, he also did Setsuna F-Seiei, the main protagonist from Gundam 00.
Which none of us has ever seen.
No,
nope.
Not.
Andres has.
Yes.
You've seen all
That's why he brought it up.
Yep.
How great would it be if he in the movie and right before he died he said, "Oh, gun damn it."
He'll quote Setsuna, "We are Gundam." What? Never mind.
What do you mean that's not even how to grammar? I don't know.
It's Setsuna's weird thing. It's his in the show Gundam 00. His idea of the term Gundam is anyone who fights for justice is considered a Gundam. To him, the word Gundam does not strictly limit to big ass robots that look like samurais.
Well, see, there's a weird thing in a lot of anime where like a character will have some sort of like weird slogan that I'm sure sounds really cool in Japanese, but just does not translate at all. Like in
Gundam!
Like in Trigun, when Vash is always walking around talking about like love and peace, and the world was made of love and peace. I'm like, what do you mean? It doesn't make any sense. Cut your hair, you damn hippie! Like it's.
Or in Big O, where Roger Smith says he's one of the tomatoes.
Oh, that's shit.
I mean, Mega Deuce is an unfortunate decision. That was a bad call.
Wait, who here watches Soul Eater?
Oh, I do. I own it.
Okay, the main protagonist also voiced Death the Kid.
Wait, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Japanese version.
Yes.
For a second, I thought you were talking about the English version of Shin Godzilla, because I know that
No, I'm talking about the main
Death the
protagonist. I'm talking about the main protagonist for the Japanese cast of Planet of the Monsters.
Shin, we haven't talked about Shin in like 2 solid minutes.
Yeah, why did I go back? Why do you think I would go back to Shin when I'm saying that the main protagonist of Monster Planet is the same dude who did the guy from Death Note, the guy from Gundam 00, and now Death Jr. from Soul Eater.
You said Soul Eater, then Death the Kid, and then my immediate thought went to Rando Yaguchi from the English dub of Shin Godzilla.
No.
It's so weird hearing that voice actor do the voice performance for Rando Yaguchi, because it doesn't fit.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about him.
I gotta watch that dub. I'm so excited.
And you just get excited.
But her English is so much better.
So any other thoughts on the trailer itself, though?
It looks very action-oriented.
The animation looks like shit.
That's my thing.
I agree with both of you. One, I like the attack on Godzilla. Two, yeah, I don't like the animation either.
I feel like my eyes will adjust to the animation like I did with Knights of Sidonia. I just wish I didn't have to in the first place.
Yeah, I'm
and again,
with you. I'll do the same
it feels
thing.
like this is the continuing trend of Japanese CG animation attempting to replicate the look and feel of 2D animation. And to me, what works in 2D animation, the limited frame rate, lack of movement, the whole idea of the whole art of Japanese 2D animation was built on limitations, where it's like we can't be as fluid as we can like American animation, so let's make something that's unique and suited to our low-budget nature. And with CG animation, they become so used to 2D animation doing all this limited stuff that they want to preserve that limited look and style aesthetic and carry it over into CG animation. And to me, it looks very awkward.
Yes.
But
I just don't think it translates particularly well.
Yeah. They definitely need to
and in fact,
style if they're going to do that.
Even looking at the character designs themselves, these are character designs that would work very well in 2D animation, but instead they're going for a look and style that could work in 2D and 3D instead of looking for a new art style that can work solely in 3D.
And that's weird because in more recent years, some Japanese 2D animated stuff has managed to become a lot more fluid in its movement, and now the CG stuff is reverting to the weird sort of stilted style. Because there's a guy who works on a lot of Dragon Ball Super, who you can always tell when he animated a sequence because the character models just become like super fluid in their movements. His name's Naoki Tate, and they just like it's just beautiful shit. Like he doesn't do so well with like character details, like the character models in those fight scenes aren't as detailed, but they move just like fucking beautifully.
I know exactly the sequences you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like the
That's
one
also-
the one from that Hit two-parter where Goku's fighting with Hit, and like they just become like super fluid and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can do that now in Japanese 2D animation if they've care to. But at the same time, they've got people doing CG and being like, oh, we're going to do the traditional anime 2 frames per minute thing.
Weren't the rebuild of Evangelion films done with 3D CG?
Yeah, it was definitely done with 3D CG, and you can definitely notice when you see like the Evangelions moving very fluidly, especially at the moment in 2.22, where all the Evas are running towards the giant eyeball in the sky.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Polygon do that instead of the whole laggy thing?
I don't know. It's like tradition. They want to stick to tradition. They want to stick to what people in Japan already like.
Is it tradition or is it just financial issues?
No, this is not really financial, because when you have CGI, you can, I've never seen CGI with stuttering frame rates, so that's like an intentional artistic choice.
Did you see the one weird frame after Godzilla fired his atomic breath in Shin when he got all wobbly? I've seen stilted CG frame rate.
I mean, do you remember when he freaking morphed into the standing version? Like, Jesus.
Yeah,
like
that was weird.
CG in Japan is not where it needs to be, and this movie definitely reflects that in quite a few ways. I really don't think Godzilla looks that good at all in the movie. Like, we can talk about how great or not we think the design, or fine, the design looks, isolated.
I don't know. I like that he's shrouded in shadow, like in that one shot we see.
He looks
and there's
more
a
like
nice
Godzilla
lighting.
in the movie than when you see him in the design photos. But animation-wise, it looks like those trailers for Godzilla 0 Hour we got back in the day.
Oh,
like just unfinished, like a video game cutscene. It's more stylized, which is good.
Like the cell shadedness definitely helps it, where it's not trying to look realistic. It's trying to be like kind of that slick and shiny look to it.
It really wants to be Borderlands, or at least like something like that, where it's trying to recreate an art style that the medium in which they're creating it cannot. You can't do it. So
We're in a weird place with this Japanese CG, because it feels to me like they've put all their eggs in one basket, in that they can texture a model like nobody's business, but moving it.
that seems to always have been their problem, even with 2D animation. Their texturing is unreal, but the movement is like, I
don't know, even the textures, some things bother me. Like when you look at the characters and you see the clothes, these clothes apparently have a bunch of like scuffs and scratches on them. But if you look closely at the character models, it looks like those scratches were just like painted on, or just like slapped on instead of actually looking like there's any dents in them.
I didn't notice that, but I do like the design of all the space stuff. That looking unique and fresh and original, very good. That's all good stuff. And I like all the designs of the mechs. It looks like it's a cross between like Starship Troopers and Metal Gear Solid, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which I think for like a Godzilla kaiju combat thing is also a good idea. You need like next level weapons to fight off that kind of threat. And I really like the idea of seeing a space-based military force who knows what they're up against with Godzilla and all the other monsters and have time to prepare. That's going to be fucking cool.
Like, we see the main protagonist as a child, and we see him now as this, like, young man, so we can probably shoot around the ballpark saying they probably had, like, maybe 10 to 15 years to get ready for Godzilla.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, ever since we first saw those, like, really vague promotional images where it was just, like, a ship and a person standing on a ledge and, like, looking out into the distance, you remember that?
Yeah.
Ever since then, the outfits have sort of given me a vibe. They remind me kind of the armor that the mutants wore in Final Wars, mixed with the pilot suits from Pacific Rim. You know what I mean? Like
I can sort of see that.
It's kind of weird because the suits are modeled after the Exilians.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, but with like the reverse color, it's like a white chest with the black arms and legs.
If you look at it, you can see it, but they did fuck with the colors. So another thing they changed in classic Godzilla lore.
Don't fuck with aliens. God damn it.
As if they weren't already fucked with in 2004 when they were doing flips.
Well, the Exilians are in the movie too.
But they looked cool.
Oh, they're a race in the movie?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's two races of aliens in the movie: the Exilians and whatever that black guy is.
They're original, I'm pretty sure. Because the fact that they're doing the Exilians makes me a lot more excited for this. Because then we're doing stuff from Godzilla lore, which is cool. So yeah, no, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely very mixed on this movie. I'm very conflicted. But at the end of the day, I just gotta see it. I'm with Andres. I gotta sit down. I gotta get accustomed to it. I gotta see what goes on, and then we'll see what
I would
happens.
recommend checking out Knights of Sidonia just to prepare yourself for the animation.
Yeah, but if I hate it, I don't want to expect to hate this. I'd rather go in blind and be surprised. Although, when I watched Evangelion in preparation for Shin, that helped a lot. So maybe you're right.
I have been interested in checking out Knights of Sidonia ever since I saw that it was a thing. Because I was like, oh, an anime that's on Netflix? What?
It's got robots. It's got space travel.
What treachery is this?
It's got some semblance of monster action.
Oh, there are monsters in that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I might actually watch that.
Most of them are just like amorphous blobs.
That's pretty much what Anno did in Gunbuster.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like Gunbuster, the Gunbuster aliens.
In that we know nothing about them except they exist and that we're not supposed to like them.
Right, and they drove humanity off from their home planet.
Right.
And they're forced to live in ships.
I do like Gunbuster though.
Gunbuster's amazing.
Yeah.
I saw Blame to prepare myself for Planet of the Monsters, but that was probably a poor choice.
What's
you
Blame?
saw what?
It's this new anime film that's on Netflix that's directed by one of the directors of Planet of the Monsters and also animated by Polygon Pictures.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's it about?
I have no fucking idea. It's one of those films where it has no plot, really. It's just like a series of events that happen, and then explosions and people die happen eventually.
It sounds like every movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say with Godzilla 2014, you can explain the plot.
I'm looking at the art style here, and it looks pretty much almost spot on from Planet of the Monsters.
What, Blame?
Except the girls have much bigger... Yeah, Blame. Except the girls here have much bigger, wide eyes.
At least it looks like we're getting a clearer narrative in Planet of the Monsters.
Oh, we are, because it's written by Geno Robochi.
Who's done
Who
what
did?
else?
Huh?
Who's done what else that would and still
Oh, he's done it.
confidence.
He's done a shit ton of things. One of my favorite things he's done is this anime called Gargantia.
Okay.
And he's also done a few episodes of Kamen Rider Gaim, which
What's Gargantia
I've said
about?
before.
That sounds like a thing that...
Now that has a plot that I can describe.
Okay.
That's a good first. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen pictures of this.
So it's kind of like Waterworld, but done better.
I did not expect that based on the title, but okay.
But no, there's giant robots in it.
Okay.
I'm interested.
So it's about this guy. The first episode starts off with this very, very long battle between this union with giant robots and these creatures called Hellgas. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
That's the anime.
Do they speak with Cockney accents?
Yeah, because that's...
What the Hellgas? They're monsters. They don't speak at all.
Okay.
Was that a reference to
But,
Killzone?
Yes.
Thank you. I understood that reference.
But okay, the dude goes into a wormhole and ends up on a post-apocalyptic version of Earth, and he's picked up by this fleet of ships, which is I guess it's the last of humanity.
This is really complicated already. My God.
No, but it's on Netflix. Give it a watch.
It sounds interesting. I mean, it definitely sounds like they got the right guy to do a post-apocalyptic Godzilla story, and as long as you're saying it's good, I mean, that instills more confidence in the animation and in the origin.
I mean, I like it.
So it's kind of like a genre. What you're describing is like a genre mashing, where you have one character who's from this one war, and he's suddenly thrown into a completely different setting, but he still has his giant robot in this post-apocalyptic Waterworld setting.
Cool.
Right, yeah.
That is pretty
Okay.
cool. It's like...
Yeah, I was really shocked that the first word of that description was Waterworld.
Yeah, well, because I was expecting, like, oh, it's like Gargantua, but she's a girl.
So, like, if you have the main character from Gundam, he's in the middle of the war with Zeon. All of a sudden, he gets shot into another movie. He's in Waterworld and teams up with Kevin Costner or something.
It also kind of there was a franchise. I forget what it was called, but it was like they were time police, and they would pull like people from time who had supposedly died, but they weren't dead. They'd been pulled from time to become a part of the time police. So they'd pull like Civil War soldiers and 9/11 firemen and different people who were supposed to be dead, and then they have them fight aliens and stuff. Like, that's what this sounds like. That game may or may not have been called Chrono Trigger. No, that's a fighting game. I don't know.
No, that's an JRPG.
Then it's that.
With the same art style, the same guy, Akira Toriyama, doing the character designs.
Oh, all right, then definitely not that. This was Chrono something else, and it had generic early mid 2000s like Xbox effects.
Okay, yeah, no, Chrono Trigger was a Super Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I don't know.
Signed by Akira Toriyama.
That is a seriously interesting idea, though, to be like, we're gonna pull people who were supposed to die in war and in different places, and then use them to fight aliens. Like, that's very...
Is that a first-person shooter you're describing?
Yes.
I think I might have played that once.
It wasn't even a full game. It was a PSN, Xbox Live, like, you could buy it for like $30, and it was like just the campaign, and it was only like 4 hours or so. Apparently it was like very, like, it was like super generic, and like pick up any other first-person shooter, and there you go. There were a lot of games like that at that time that were just trying to cash in on Call of Duty, Gears of War, any action-based violent franchise that was making money. But anyway...
And found an image of Gargantia.
Okay. Where's my phone? Oh.
I shared it on Skype this time.
Oh. You're making me go on a fucking adventure just to find pictures. Oh, I've seen the ad for this on Netflix. Is this the same animation? No, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this looks a lot better. Because this is 2D, I take.
The way God intended.
Yeah. Oh. Alright. So any other thoughts on the Monster Planet trailer or Planet of the Monsters or whatever?
No, other than I feel like most on a visual level, I'll probably enjoy it as much as I did with Knights of Sidonia given some time. I wish I didn't need that time to do that. I didn't need to adjust my eyes, but it's okay. Other people, they're totally fine with the animation, and you know what? That's great for you. I'm glad you're able to look past it and immediately focus on the story. For me, I've always been a big animation guy, and so from the very get-go, I was hoping this wouldn't be the case, but it is, and so I just have to deal with it.
I mean, CG is a form of animation, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I said, it being in CG, I was hoping
not as good form of animation, but yes. No, I mean, that's not 100% true. Like, if everything looked like those fucking cinematic trailers for the Batman Arkham games, then I would be okay with it, but they don't.
I'm sure somewhere out there, Sid Part 2 is probably plotting your revenge right now, Bill.
He doesn't listen to this show.
He does.
You're right.
If only everything looked like Reboot, and then we would live in a perfect world. But
yeah,
you know,
that would be the perfect world. Definitely.
Where everyone looked like shiny plastic models.
Yeah. That was the shit, right? I mean,
yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right. I can't think of a better time in my life than when Reboot was a thing.
Reboot,
it's been a Beast Wars person.
Reboot, Gundam SD Force, Cubics. Those were the days.
Oh God! Oh no!
The early 2000s MTV Spider-Man show.
Oh no!
I remember that.
I do. I remember that as well. That wasn't as bad as a lot of the other stuff we're throwing out there.
You can knock the models in those shows, but they moved a lot better than what I've seen in this trailer.
That is true. They had better frame rates.
None of them were fucking plants. No,
You're really not letting this go, Bill.
No, I'm calm. I'm kidding. I'm not really that angry over it.
Bill, I'm gonna buy you a plant for your birthday.
I would love that. I would love to have a plant to take care of. Can it be shaped like a dinosaur?
It's a hard trailer to try and discuss on any other level than animation. I know it sounds like we're fucking.
Hold on, Bill. I got. It looks like I got the sequel for Spider-Man: Homecoming right here.
It's a giant link. Oh my god. Whatever.
Anyway,
the XML file does not appear to have any style information associated with it.
Access denied, Andres.
Damn it.
Access denied.
It may sound like we're
Damn it.
nothing else but bitching about the animation in this segment. But I mean, it's a weird trailer to try and discuss because I can't really speculate about the plot because I don't speak Japanese. So,
yeah. But I mean, plot-wise, it looks pretty straightforward. I'm more interested.
Does this work?
Yes. There you go. That's exactly the plant that I want.
They're gonna reboot Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man. They're gonna make him into a plant.
I feel like I'd be more okay with them making Spider-Man a plant than Godzilla. Anyway.
Plant.
But as long as I still have like a normal version of Spider-Man, though, I really wouldn't care. I would get over it.
Does whatever a spider plant does. It's me.
But yes, certainly we will have to wait and see in order to determine whether or not this is a garbage thing that we don't like when we actually see it. So, who knows, man? That's the question we always got to ask ourselves.
In better news, King of the Hill's coming back, so get ready for some propane.
Say what?
Whoa, for real? That's out of nowhere. They're doing new King of the Hill?
Yeah, I don't really know much details about that. I just saw a headline somewhere. Hold on, let me do
It's crazy that we're like, oh my god, they're bringing back King of the Hill, but The Simpsons is still on. Like South Park is still on. Like all those shows that are its contemporaries are still on. So why not bring back King of the Hill?
Dude, King of the Hill has been off the air for almost 7 years.
And it's also like, of all those shows, that was probably the one I liked the most. So yeah, bring back King of the Hill.
Yeah, right here on CNN, the King of the Hill might be returning to Fox.
Definitely do it. I'm all for it.
Then, quote, preliminary talks for King of the Hill return. Hopefully it'll go better than the last couple seasons of Futurama that got made.
And hopefully it'll go much better than when Beavis and Butthead briefly returned to Netflix. For like
was that a thing?
It returned in 2011 for like a hot minute.
Mm.
Yeah, it was on MTV. It returned to MTV for a while, and then
it was immediately canceled within like the same year, because at that point MTV has changed so much that the generation that grew up on Beavis and Butthead no longer watched MTV. And the generation that currently watches MTV doesn't care about something like Beavis and Butthead.
Right. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead does not belong on MTV anymore, unfortunately.
What we really need to bring back is Action League now.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be nice. But yeah.
Or reboot.
See, I would like them.
No, they are. Remember last year there was an announcement that they were going to
reboot. Yep, I remember that.
And then we made a joke. It's like we're imagining what like the announcer guy was trying to say. It's like, well, it's not a reboot. It's a reimagining. So you're rebooting. No, it's a big deal. All right, already. Okay, it's a reboot. Yes, all right.
We pressed the reboot button on reboot.
It's reboot the reboot. All right, just.
Make your jokes. Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull an Anno and call it a rebuild, like some sort of pretentious prick. All right, it's a reboot of reboot.
Oh, there was a poster for the next Evangelion rebuild movie. We know that we know that there will be power lines in it, so that's nice to know.
Judging by 3.3.0 or 3.33, if you're a pretentious fuck like Anno, I guess. I would have assumed that all power lines would have been destroyed by the events of 3.0.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed everybody was dead after what happened in the second one.
Yeah,
then
right.
No, they're flying around in mechanized whales.
Whales. That was an Aquaman from DBZ Abridged reference.
I mean, despite all that, I am excited about it. I mean, because at this point we're so far beyond where the show was.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like I'm just interested. I'm interested.
The sky's the limit.
I'm interested just to see that it's still a thing.
I'm interested in seeing Shinji. It seems like they're making like Gendo Ikari out to be like the bad guy, the straight up villain of this.
I mean, Andres, let's not stand on brass taxes here. He hasn't really been a great guy at all.
No. He was always morally ambiguous within the television series up until the events of the movie. But
when end of Evangelion, they pretty firmly come down on the fact that he's an asshole. Yeah.
Right. But for the third movie, they straight up made him the main antagonary force that Misato and the rest of the gang are whose ass Misato and the rest of the gang want to kick. So it'd be interesting to see if in 4.0 or whatever they're going to call it, 3.0 plus 1.0, it's going to be interesting if they make Shinji straight up go on the offense against his own father.
Go for it. I mean, Gendo has always been the villain of the show. Technically, when you go back and you look at all the shit that has led to all the things that have happened, so it makes sense that we're finally there.
Yeah.
The best scene in 3.33 or whatever it's called, 33 or whatever, is when what's his right hand man's name? The guy with the white hair.
I don't know. Professor something.
That scene where he and Shinji play chess or whatever the hell that game is called. It's not chess.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Else.
Damn it, I don't know, but yeah.
It's a really, really, really good scene because it's like the only scene in that movie where people in any way feel
Shogi.
like...
It was called Shogi.
Oh, okay. But it's the only scene in that movie where people have any humanity whatsoever. And that's why I really liked it. The rest of that movie is weird, creepy flirting. And then Shinji fucks up again.
So, in the rebuild version of the universe, this is something that was kind of, ambiguous in the show, I thought, and it's been a while since I watched either of them. But in the rebuild version of the universe, Shinji definitely fucked that angel, right? I mean...
Oh, you mean the little kid?
It seems pretty...
Kaoru?
Yeah, Kaoru. They never fucked. They never got the chance to, but that was totally Shinji's plan. I mean, he literally was going to kill everybody else in the entire world so he could do that. So, absolutely.
Right. Because I felt like the show kind of was a little more ambiguous about it.
Well, they very quickly come down like, oh no, he's an angel, so let's kill him. And then Shinji's like, nah! And then everything that happens in the show happens. I mean, that's, that kind of... Yeah, and that's when the 2 episode that's when the pin drops, and then it's just madness for 2 episodes.
Yeah. which had to be retconned away with a movie that's another 2 hours of madness and murder.
At least the movie is like enjoyable to watch and makes sense on a narrative level. At least most of it.
True.
Does.
Oh yeah.
At least I kind of
here-
love the end of Evangelion.
Here's something funny. For the last couple of months, I've been rewatching Evangelion with a couple of my friends here in Japan, and one of my friend's girlfriends joined us when we got to the episode with Kaoru. And she, like many Japanese people, are fully aware of Evangelion, but have never actually watched the series. And so for her whole life, she thought Kaoru was a main character in the show. And she was super surprised that in the episode that introduces him, kills him off immediately.
Yeah. No, he's on a lot of the characters that are on the poster have like no role in the show. Like what's Shinji's friend's name? The one who becomes an Eva pilot, but we never actually see him. We never see him pilot an Eva though. Like it's all like it's all off screen, and we only see him in the. I don't think we ever actually see him in the pilot's uniform in the episode either. I think it's only on the promo art that you see him in the pilot's uniform.
Right, yeah.
I always had the sense that Evangelion had a bigger cast than it does, or like a bigger cast of the kids who are piloting the robots, but it's only three.
Oh, yeah.
It's only Rei,
Asuka,
and Shinji. And then there's the chick with the glasses in the Rebuild movies who I don't know what her deal is. I guess like they've never explained her.
To be honest, I like her just based on her personality because she's
fun.
like she brings some sort of levity to the situation.
Well, she's somebody who's like comfortable in their own skin, which is rare in the Evangelion universe.
Exactly, that's why I like her. She's like, fuck yeah, let's go kick some ass in these giant robots of ours.
And she's not trying to like prove some point about the meaning of God and its connection to humanity or something.
Right.
You know, like she's just trying to survive. So I enjoy that as well.
I always saw her as like she's like the equivalent of a super robot pilot.
Yeah, she's probably the most traditional giant robot pilot in that show. Because Asuka's kind of a parody of that in terms of how cocky she is. And then
she's cocky, but
Shinji, absolutely, he's an absolute parody of that as well.
Right. Where like Asuka, she's just like all this like cockiness is just a facade to hide her extreme insecurities and social anxiety. And the social anxiety part that's her and Shinji to some degree.
Well, Shinji throws up the loneliness and all that other shit to cover up the fact that he's a monster on the inside and he has to keep it locked up from the rest of the world. So,
especially if you remember that like third episode where he's trying to save his two friends from high school, and he goes apeshit with that knife and stabs that second angel to death.
Oh, I mean, even just what happens in the first episode is technically it happens in the second one.
That was
very telling of that.
He goes like subconscious mad there.
He goes like primal, you know, when Wolverine goes primal, just absolute kill until everybody is dead.
Yeah.
God, I like that show, and I really don't like those movies.
I can't blame
the Rebuild movies.
I like the. I would have to say the second one is probably the best. Would you guys agree?
I would say so. I like that what they tried to do with those characters
because it's the most different from the show, but it makes the most sense in why it's different. Like 3 is like a what if type of thing.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels that way. Whereas
That's why I like them both equally. They both they feel the same but in different ways.
I don't hate the Rebuild movies. Not
at all. I highly enjoy them.
I'll probably never watch 3 again, except to remind myself that there are no power lines in this universe anymore.
Which apparently there are again.
Yeah, right now there are. So why am I even going to bother?
I don't know. Why are we even bothering talking about Evangelion when we were talking about?
No, whatever. It filled out some time. This would have been a shorter one anyway. Now it's proper length. So with that, we can start to wrap things up. So is there anything else that anybody has to get off their chests before we wrap this up for another 2 weeks?
Let's see.
I heard else. I heard that Tommy was so solid the Disaster Artist and that he liked it.
Great.
That's good.
Yeah. Did we talk about the trailer? Because
we never did.
I'm very
because that was the week that we covered Haruo Nakajima's death.
Oh, All right, so I mean, very quickly, I'm totally sold on what they're doing with that. The biggest problem with it is James Franco.
The voice is not there.
It's not there. No, it's really unfortunate too, because his performance. What I like about his performance is that he's not doing an impression. He's very clearly like trying to play the character and not do a Tommy Wiseau impression. But I think the problem is that everybody can do a Tommy Wiseau impression, and it's better than his. That's the problem. But again, the way they're showing the production is hysterical. I think that all looks great.
Yeah, it's exactly how I imagined it in the book. In the book itself, it's just just one big montage of fucked up take after fucked up take.
But it's like the performance and the comedy approach works, though.
I'll be interested to see how different, if at all, it is from the book. Because Tommy Wiseau made an interesting statement from what I heard. He said he approved of the movie at like 99%, which is interesting because in a previous statement he had said that he approved of the book about 40-something%. Does that mean that they changed something, or is he just really inconsistent? Or...
It's probably not as much about Greg as it is about him.
Probably.
Plus, it's Tommy Wiseau. Everything he says is questionable.
The book very clearly like almost paints them as dual protagonists, and I doubt the movie will be like that.
It probably doesn't paint him in as shady of a light as well, just because it's easier to do that in the book when you have all this time to explain like the weird, fucked up nature of their relationship. Whereas in a movie, it's basically just going to be a biopic about how they.
It'll pretty much be showing him being weird. Like it'll just be like, oh, he's Mark's weird friend. Whereas in the book, it's so much more than that.
Like maybe it's like he's this weird individual, but then you realize underneath that weirdness is a lot of insecurities, and we're supposed to see him in a now sympathetic light.
I wonder if they're going to get into his backstory in the movie, because in the book you don't get that until the very end, and even then it's not even.
It's very
it's
ambiguous.
It's ambiguous as to whether or not it's even about him. So I don't know. I mean, realistically, the best way to do it is to show it like Mark describes how he heard it, like actually show Tommy telling it to him.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. But that might be too serious for this material.
Do you think the movie might show that scene that got cut out of the actual movie that he talks about in the book, where he simulated sex with her dress?
Oh my God!
Wait, that's in the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, that's in the whole movie.
Part of it is in the movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's in the movie.
They cut it down or something.
They did cut it down. Yeah, they had to, because he almost came to orgasm with it, like in the fucking like on set. I remember that was the deal. Is like they had to stop him and be like, Tommy, this is not.
I found a screenshot of it.
Like, Tommy, this is not kosher.
Well, all this talk about The Room makes me want to buy the Blu-ray now.
I mean, if you want to make porn, fine, but you gotta be straightforward about it.
You gotta be honest. I don't like lies in my pornography.
I can only have lies in my pornography, huh?
Well, pornography relies on lies, doesn't it?
Right, because it's supposed to make you look at the person being in the porn and think, they'd be.
That's so gross. Tommy Wiseau is a fucking animal.
I can't wait to see the scenes in the Disaster Artist movie, showing them filming this awkward sex scenes in the room.
They will definitely have this bit. They'll have to, because that's too...
They have to.
See, because do you think the comedy approach is maybe not... I'm sold on it in the trailer, because they made it work for that particular bit, but it is only one scene. We have nothing else to base it on, so... I'm wondering if the approach will work for the rest of the story, because it's not it's a half drama, half half laughs a minute riot, adventure of them making a bad movie. So I'm hoping the movie reflects the two sides of that story, because it's broken up into two sections anyway. Like, do you guys remember how the book goes? It's like one section is. It's Mark's actual building of his friendship with Tommy.
Yeah,
and then
his origin story.
Yeah, and then the next part is them making the movie.
Right.
So, It'll
Which I
probably
don't
be
think-
best if the movie keeps that. Yeah. We'll have to see, though.
My biggest concern is isn't Dave Franco in this movie?
Yeah, so he's Mark.
Yes, he's Mark.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That is the real choice. He's very miscast there. He's totally wrong for that part. He looks nothing like him. His personality is the complete opposite of Mark's of Greg Sestero. I keep forgetting that's not his real name. His name is Greg Sestero. But yeah.
That's the problem with Dave Franco. He really doesn't fit
In any role, because he's too much
any
of
role
himself.
at all. Like it's just
He's just too obnoxious as himself.
Maybe you should have gotten Tommy Wiseau to play Greg Sestero.
There you
that would've
go. Oh, hi, me. That's how he would have been on this. I mean, he's
Cut.
in it. I know that they're both in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
I'm interested to see what roles they play.
Speaking of The Room, I wonder if we ever got an update on that documentary, Room Full of Spoons. 'Cause I heard that that was a documentary on the life of Tommy Wiseau, and actually found out where he came from. I guess they went to Europe and talked to his family, and Tommy did everything in his power to try to prevent this movie from being shown at any film festival. Otherwise, he was going to threaten to sue the film festivals that try to show this movie. And I guess they decided to go ahead and release the movie. Only now the documentary is going to include all this drama with Tommy Wiseau.
Oh my God, when is this happening? I want to see this so bad.
It's been released already, hasn't it?
Oh,
Yes, because I follow the Facebook group and they said around May the DVD will be released. I'm just waiting for a torrent. If not, I'll legitimately just buy the damn thing.
oh, I'll happily buy that. That's Room Full of. I mean, I got it here. Room Full of Spoons. Release date. Yeah, it says it was released in 2016.
So I guess it was shown at some film festivals. Let's see.
how weird that's so close together. We're getting both a documentary and a docudrama about this fucking strange man who made a movie.
Yeah, that captured the imaginations of the entire planet. Like
14
Jurassic
years
Park.
later.
Although I think they need to get all this stuff about The Room out, because it will eventually. I mean, the internet will eventually get sick of it. I think it's already starting to. We've already got a generation. I think we've already got a new generation of young people using the internet who missed out on The Room like that, because that was fucking like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and if it weren't for people like the Nostalgia Critic talking about it, you wouldn't have been able to have even learned about it years after the fact.
Nostalgia Critic, that review was years ago.
Yeah, when was that review? Like 2008,
Wait,
9?
Now I know that IMDb isn't always the most reliable, but I'm looking at the cast list here, and they have Bryan Cranston listed as playing Bryan Cranston.
Is
Well,
Bryan
Bryan Cranston
Cranston
was
integral in the life of Tommy Wiseau?
No. Bryan Cranston is in the Disaster Artist movie.
Oh, who is he playing?
Himself.
I guess apparently himself.
That's why I asked, what role does Bryan Cranston play in the life of Tommy Wiseau?
It's weird. There are several actors listed here that are apparently playing themselves. Lizzie Kaplan, Kristen Bell. I'm looking to see if there are any more.
Even though there were no... Oh, you know what? It could be like at the end premiere or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Add Tommy Wiseau down the line.
See, the cameo for Tommy Wiseau I want in the movie is that he's like a homeless guy in the fucking premiere and they kick him out. Like that, I think that would be really funny.
Why couldn't Dave Franco play himself and then get hit by a bus in the movie?
Because they hate us.
When is this movie supposed to even come out?
Eventually.
December.
Eventually. Great.
They put that on
Go
the
for it.
poster. Eventually. At some point, this will happen.
Coming soon. Last year.
See, I miss the days of coming soon. Like, we don't have coming soon anymore. Now it's like it's coming now.
But you're right, Bill. You're right, Bill, and that the internet has lost. You don't hear as much about The Room anymore. It's time that we get a Birdemic documentary. God damn it!
That is also done. We need something about like.
Oh yeah, it was done when the second movie came and killed the hype.
But it's the next thing after The Room. They got to do them in order, or else fuck it.
Let's see. What's the next bad? What's the next bad thing?
What's the
Plus,
really popular bad thing now?
Sharknado doesn't count.
No.
That one's fabricated.
Plus, I'd really like to see the little Asian guy from The Hangover play that fucking crazy Vietnamese man who made
what was it called? Miami Vice? No. Fuck. What am I doing? Miami Connection. Miami Connection. That's the new one that people were talking about a couple years ago.
Have you guys heard about this Neil Breen guy who just makes all these shitty
Oh,
movies?
yes, Neil Breen, yes. I can't believe you killed yourself.
We need the Neil Breen movie.
Well, we'll have to find out.
Apparently he's making a fourth. Neil Breen is making a fourth movie.
Who's he?
He can't help himself. He's only a human.
Neil Breen is this guy who made a movie about. Look up Rich Evans Explains Double Down. And you know what? We should watch it together after we're done recording. But Rich Evans explaining the plot to one of his movies. Rich Evans is the guy from Red Letter Media. Is the most hilarious thing ever.
Okay.
I was introduced to Neil Breen, our Lord and Savior, through a wonderful episode that Your Movie Sucks did about him, and it's something special. This guy is the new Tommy Wiseau, but he takes himself way more seriously.
That's great. So he's not making them intentionally bad. That's great.
No.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, he thinks it's the classic thing. He doesn't see them as cheesy, corny campiness. He's actually trying to make them serious.
And if you look at his characters in this movies, it's not even serious like in the way Tommy Wiseau was trying to be serious, like in like a dramatic way. It's way cringier than that because he seems to think of himself as some sort of a badass action hero.
Or Jesus.
And he's just the opposite of both of those things.
Wait, what was the video called?
Rich Evans Explains Double Down. In fact, I got the link right here, but let's wait until after we're done with this podcast.
Double Down is the first movie that he made that like set his name on fire, and then after that there's a movie called I Am Here ... Now, and then the other big one is called Fateful Findings, and they are just boy.
Fateful Findings. Oof.
I see.
Like watching paint dry if the paint had a personality.
I would watch paint dry if the paint had a personality. Oh God, David! I was about to end the show when he's going BRB. Well, in the meantime, does anybody have anything else they want to say?
Let's see. Well, can I use this time to promote whatever stuff I have?
Of course, yeah. I mean, anything and anything. Go for it.
All right. It was funny. I was about to look I was going on YouTube. I'm going for the part that says like my channel, so I can see like the latest videos on my channel. But it looks like the newest YouTube update removed the my channel option on the sidebar.
Oh, that's annoying.
So there's no button that immediately takes me to my own channel.
You gotta go through the Creator Studio. Yeah.
Weird. I still have.
I hate this new update.
Is it a Japanese only thing? Because mine still looks the same.
Mine is all different. It's all gray now.
Weird. Oh my God! I just realized.
It either. Yeah.
I just realized, Andres, if they ever make a Neil Breen biopic, he needs to be played by Nick Cage.
Yes.
Yeah, but Nick Cage is actually badass though, so that doesn't work.
No, but you don't understand. Look at a picture of this man and tell me that that's not a Nick Cage role.
How do I spell Neil?
Neil. Breen, Breen, and then just be overcome by the craziness.
Okay, so to promote the stuff that I have currently on my channel, I have a full-on retrospective of my time at G-Fest with Andrew Battaglia, Patrick Galvin, and Brayden Connor. Along the way, we also did a commentary for Godzilla vs. Hedorah in honor of the Move Films director's recent passing. I also did a review of Season 1 of Castlevania with my animator buddy, Crooked Lore Productions. I also did a first impressions on the first 4 episodes of Ultraman Geed with and Shoma, and I recently made a video called Tag Your It, 5 Questions for Kaiju YouTubers, tagged by D-Man1954, where D-Man tagged me with, and, well, what was it, 3 other Godzilla Kaiju YouTubers with 5 questions of his own, and so I answered those 5 questions and provide 4 more YouTubers, 2 of which being people involved in this podcast.
Oh my god, I still gotta do mine. I keep forgetting, my bad.
Why you hurt me, Bill?
I'm sorry. I planned to do it and then I forgot. I will do that now. I have the time, and I will have the video editing software soon. So.
All right, and in the near future, I hopefully plan to have my review for Gundam Unicorn finally released. With thanks to the help of Andrew Battaglia, aka Blue Eyes or Sapphire 9 Productions, along with a long belated review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Inshoma, which will be released to coincide with the release of the film on Blu-ray and DVD.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, and I got my Rebirth of Mothra 3 review almost ready to be put together. I got Crooked Lore Productions almost finished with the animation on that, because if you've seen the finale for the Rebirth of Mothra 2 review, you know something big is coming up soon for that review.
All right. Big things coming out of Andres' YouTube channel is what we like to hear.
And just to promote this, I also got my Draco Azul giant robot comic in the works, as always.
Still the coolest thing ever.
We got the first 20 page. We got all 20 pages of it, all sketched out. So Tyler Souls, the guy behind Drontis or Lost Serpent, is getting ready to start doing the actual pencil, getting the pencil work started on it.
All right, I cannot wait to see that when it's done. My God, you're making a comic, man. That's so wild. God, it's awesome.
I know. Even I can't believe it. It's like, holy shit, I'm actually making something here.
Oh my God, doing something with your life. We're against that sort of thing here. Take that shit and get out.
We're just here doing barely edited podcasts and nothing else.
Exactly. All right, D, do you want to tell them what we've been cooking up lately on our solo side of things, or not solo, but you know what we've been doing, and then we can wrap this up.
Oh, well, for the first time in over a year, there's actually a newish video on my channel. I got tagged in a thing, and I responded to
shit, that's right. I forgot about that. Things are wild.
The thing that I was tagged in. So you want to go listen to me ramble for 12 minutes about bullshit, there's that. It's very low effort. I'm very proud. However, the majority of what I do is just pretty much the same thing, but on Bill's channel. And you can find me always on this
for much
podcast.
Longer.
You can find me always on this podcast and in DFOS, where recently, in the very near future, you'll see an episode in which we review Season 10 of Doctor Who. Did Bill like it or not? Tune in to find out.
Well, technically, we're going to see 2 episodes that are that.
Indeed. Also, we did the recent commentary series, Ziz, Week of Kong, which we just did a bunch of addendums for, and Talking Apes. If you haven't checked all that out, go do so. As well as the latest Godzilla Odyssey video, which we had kind of gotten out of doing while we were doing other things, but now we're back doing that. So many things. We actually have a plan for our next commentary series. I'm not sure when we're going to announce it, but
we'll probably hold off on that for at least another week or so. We gotta get some stuff together for that.
So look for an announcement on that very, very soon. But yeah, tons of shit, tons of content, and Bill, you've actually gonna have a very rare solo video of your own coming very soon, aren't you?
I am. I'm not sure on the exact date or anything, but I've already started writing it. My Shin Godzilla addendum to Godzilla Palooza is in the works. It is gonna. I've already watched the movie once. I'm planning on doing it probably 2 more times. I have to watch it once with the dub, and then I have to do it once to get screen grab. So I'm not quite there yet, but I have my furtive opinion written down. So I just have to script out the rest of it. So I'm very excited. It should be lots of fun. Yeah, no, it's going to be quite the experience. This one will not be 3 hours though, I assure you, because I'm not editing that. So look forward to that at the very least.
I didn't realize Andres, Derek Savage biopic could also be very entertaining.
Oh no.
Oh no.
David, is there anything you want to say to the people before you head out?
I recently finally finished my HD restoration for the English dub of Ultra 7, which is up on a different channel on Gorzar TV number 2.
Oh my god, there's multiple numbers for Gorzar TV now. This is... Ugh.
Well, honestly, it should be...
This is why I don't actually follow Gorzard's exploits on YouTube anymore. I've lost the plot. It's like trying to jump in. It's like trying to jump into a comic book series. You're like, which title do I start with, and like, which one's the real number 0? Like,
it's like when they do a multiple issue crossover, like Avengers versus X-Men. Like, it's like, what do I have to read to understand the plot?
He really just needs to do a Flashpoint paradox and reboot the whole damn thing, honestly. But
He did, and he had the channel now simply titled Gorizard.
I'm subscribed to that one because I like to support my friends.
But do you watch your friends' videos, Bill?
no.
Eventually. I do eventually.
I don't believe you, Bill.
I don't watch Bill's videos anymore simply because they're 3 hours long.
They're not all 3 hours long, and I don't even make videos anymore traditionally. It's all podcasts now. So that's understandable.
What happened to the young Bill who would make stuff like Ghost Skater?
He died. I shot him in the head and buried him in the back.
Whatever happens to Emo Bill that only listens to Goodbye Now Gojira from Godzilla 84?
Emo Bill is very much alive. Just keep him inside.
Whatever happened to Electro David and his wonderful hair?
Oh God.
And as always,
there have been times where I've been considering going back to the red hair, but
David,
I ain't about that life anymore.
You're working in a hotel now. They're gonna.
Yeah, they'll say something.
They won't let you in.
It's a casino though, so it's super sleazy. I mean, he could.
He's not in the casino part though. I think they would be even less okay with it then. Somebody might try to fuck him. I don't know. Just because of the hair. I don't know.
Maybe he'd be a.
Maybe you should do it then.
Oh, you just wanted to see me get raped, don't you?
I didn't say you were gonna get raped. I said somebody was gonna try to fuck you. God,
I didn't say I wanted.
So presumptuous.
I didn't say I wanted to see it. I mean, I can be just secure in the knowledge that it happened.
You know, I just want you to tell me about it afterwards. I don't want to be there. That would be weird. And impossible.
I mean, physically. I could tape it if you want.
I mean, yeah, all right. If you can, sure.
You just tell your rapist, hey, wait, can I set up a tripod real quick because I had a bet going on with a friend, and I really
a bet that this wouldn't happen. And aren't my cheeks red?
But you see, I would think that the footage. I would think that the footage would be shot in an awkward position where it's like all you see is balls to ass, like.
Oh my God!
Your rapist is just like doing it.
You're really imagining this situation out. Well, I'll let you get to that in your personal life.
X ready.
All right, child. As always, you can also follow all of our exploits, whether you watch them or not, on the Sons of Serizawa Network homepage. Everything is there, so just follow that for simplicity's sake. And you can also like the Godzilla Odyssey page to get those early. We'll be doing that as well when the next one goes up, although that'll probably be up on the public YouTube channel by the time this goes up because we recorded that first, so that'll probably be a little redundant, but you can do that for the next one. And join Toku Legion if you hate yourself. No, it's just we can still add new members. Right? I thought, is there a cap on members for a Facebook group?
No.
Okay.
There are groups that are much bigger than us.
I'm sure there are. I just thought about that. I was wondering there probably should be.
Infinite people could theoretically join our group, Bill, and bitch about how they're tired of everybody else bitching about things.
Oh my God, isn't that scary? All right then. So with all of that said, that's gonna do it. Until next time, I am Beworster, aka Zazubaar.
I'm Gorzard, and Burger King didn't give me cheese for my cheeseburger.
Wow, I forgot that joke was even a thing. I'm Super DM64.
It wasn't a joke. It happened.
And I'm Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiji Noir, the man who sets trends even if nobody follows them. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way it's been.
The science is sound.